I'd like to tell you about another CRPS patient that came to see me, a 16-year-old girl that her story's a little less common. She had injured her ankle and developed CRPS, right? That typical sequela of sprain the ankle, boot on the ankle, pain ramping up, going to the doctors to try to handle the pain, nothing's working, medications, physical therapy, chiropractors, acupuncturists, pain specialists, neurologists, psychologists, psychiatrists. No one has been able to help get this young girl out of pain. She's in a wheelchair, and then food starts to be a trigger for her, and she develops seizures, like full on, full body, head back, eyes in the back of the head, 3 or 4 seizures a day. No one has an answer. The MRIs don't show a lesion in her brain or spinal cord. Her blood work looked normal. The parents were at their wits' end. They heard about the work that I do and they reached out to me and we did our phone consultation. And I, again, have the patient file, have some notes. A lot of CRPS patients don't come to me until they've had it for 4 years, 5 years, 10 years of unbelievable pain. This young lady had it for a year by the time that she came to see me. So a little different. So she comes in a wheelchair. She is having these seizures multiple times a day. She has terrible pain in her leg and her foot. So she's unable to stand. If she put her foot down on the ground, that would trigger a seizure. And she was on multiple medications as well. We began care. She started to make progress from the beginning. Her pain levels went down. We were able to get the seizures under control. Ultimately, the seizures stopped, and she, 3.5 months into care, she tells me, "Hey, I feel totally fine now." She's walking, she's eating just about anything that she wants to. She's not having any seizures. Said, "I'm in remission. I feel great." We did all of our tests, and she tells us that she's fine. We see her functioning, and we say, "Congratulations, you're in remission." And her parents took her home. She goes home, she's with her parents, she's doing kid things like any 16-year-old would do. She's going for walks with her dad and the family dog, and she hit a log or a rock in the forest one day, and she was in terrible pain, and she couldn't the pain wouldn't come down. So when her dad got her back into the house, then and the pain didn't get any better after a couple days, then she said to her parents, "I'm sorry, I have to tell you something. When I told you I was completely pain-free when we were at Dr. Pascal's, that wasn't the truth. My pain was much lower. I could walk again. I was probably 80% better, but I still had flare-ups. But I felt so guilty about how long this had been taking to get better." Her journey had been a year and a couple months to that point. She said she felt guilty about how long it was taking, that her parents were with her out of town, and the cost of all of that care, that was weighing on her. And she said, "I felt like I could go the rest of the way in my healing just through sheer willpower." And so I said I was fine, and we came home. I have patients like that. That's a common thing. People feel guilty that they're not contributing as much as they should to their family, that they can't participate in life activities, that the economic impact that this horrible disease can be on a family. And some people don't even seek care because of these considerations. So Lauren was a hybrid of those things. She explains to her parents, of course, love her and forgive her and understand why she had those thought processes and said, that's all well and good, but let's get back to Dr. Pascal. And it's also an example of, as I mentioned in the past, when people are in pain, you have to take their word for it. There's no real test to assess what someone else is feeling. You have to take their word for their pain levels and what flares them up and what makes them feel better. And that can be complicated if a patient isn't totally forthcoming. So we really try to have as much open and honest communication so that we can really properly gauge a patient's improvement. Be that as it may, Lauren came back to our office after being gone for about 6 weeks. She actually needed another 3 months of care. So her total care in my office was about 6.5 months. And near the end, when she is feeling good and she's been out of the wheelchair and off the crutches and walking and even out in front of my clinic running for the first time in over a year, completely pain free, she ended up having a freak injury. She strained a ligament in her knee, and that hurt a lot. We had a MRI. The MRI was negative, do all the orthopedic evaluation, and she had gotten an injury, like people in life get injuries. The unique thing in her case, though, is even though she had that injury, it didn't re-trigger her seizures and it didn't re-trigger her CRPS pain. So that really told me that her nervous system had healed up enough that even though she has that kind of severe trauma to sprain a ligament in her knee and it swelled up and it hurt and all of that stuff, she was healthy enough and had improved enough that she didn't backslide. So she stayed a couple more weeks of care. So that was in that second 3 months of care. Her knee healed up. She was pain free. And now she is back home and in school and still in full remission. How's that? So it's fantastic that she's in full remission. I again feel so honored and blessed and proud of my office that we were able to play such a vital role in her becoming pain free and having a normal life again. Is that too many ahs?